Hey everyone, and welcome to This Explainer. I'm so glad you're here. So if you're the kind of person who just wants to cut through all the clutter and get straight to the facts, you are literally in the exact right place today. We're unpacking a really powerful framework from Dr. Rajeshwar Pratap Singh. He's the Director of Research and Development at Lakshya, and it's all about finding truth amidst environmental static. Think about trying to tune an old-school radio, right? You're twisting the dial through all that fuzzy, screeching static until, bam, the broadcast comes through perfectly clear. That is exactly what we're going to do today with our environment. We're going to separate the chaotic, distracting noise of the modern world from the undeniable, critical signals that our planet is actually sending us.
To get started, I want you to consider the central theme for the 2026 World Environment Day, which is being hosted by Azerbaijan. The theme is, listen to nature's signals and act before environmental noise drowns them out. It's pretty profound, isn't it? It asks us a really direct question. Are we actually listening to the planet, or are we just kind of letting all the noise wash over us? Now, the UN Environment Program has run this global awareness platform since way back in 1973. But this upcoming theme, it feels more urgent than ever. Nature is speaking. The real question is, are we tuned into the right frequency?
Okay, so to really understand this, we got to define our terms. Think of noise as that daily overwhelm. You know what I mean? The distractions, isolated weather events, conflicting opinions, myths, the short-term fluctuations flooding our feeds. It's that constant, frantic doom scrolling that leaves us feeling panicked but totally paralyzed, and it completely hides the big picture. But a signal? A signal is a consistent pattern. It's a long-term trend. It is a clear, undeniable warning, or sometimes even a solution, emerging directly from nature to point out deep environmental change. Once we strip away that daily static, these deliberate long-term signals become incredibly clear.
Section 1. Decoding Earth's Climate Warnings.
Okay, let's dive into this. What exactly is the Earth broadcasting to us? Well, it's a whole planet broadcast, and it's using a bunch of diverse channels. Down in our rivers, pollution and overuse are literally drying up our lifelines. Across the ground, land and soil degradation are seriously threatening food security. Look up into the canopies, and the loss of trees is a direct threat to global biodiversity. And then, our oceans are warming, seas are rising, and the atmosphere is just choked with extreme weather and pollution. Climate change is the grand multiplier here. It amplifies every single one of these threats. So the Earth isn't just whispering, it's transmitting on every single frequency it has.
And what's really interesting here is how these massive abstract planetary shifts translate into 4 stark real-world impacts. They pierce right through the static, and we absolutely cannot ignore them. Signal 1. Heat waves. We're not just talking about a nice warm day. We're talking about longer, brutally hot summers that hit human health and productivity hard. Signal 2. Floods. Extreme, high-intensity rainfall that damages lives and infrastructure. Signal 3, and this is a massive one, fallen groundwater. We're seeing dropping water tables that threaten agriculture and create serious water scarcity in both rural and urban areas. And finally, Signal 4, biodiversity loss through habitat fragmentation. These are the undeniable signals. We see them, we feel them, and they need our attention right now.
Section 2. Tuning into the future. India's global climate action.
So shifting gears from urgent warnings to some much-needed optimism, humanity is actually broadcasting a response. There's this global narrative that's been building over time, and it's brilliant. Back in 2011, India hosted World Environment Day, focusing on forests and the communities that depend on them. Fast forward a bit to 2018, again hosted by India, and we got the monumental Beat Plastic Pollution theme. That campaign triggered massive global discussions on single-use plastics. Now we're looking ahead to 2026 in Azerbaijan with the Inspired by Nature theme. But look all the way out to 2070. That's India's incredibly ambitious commitment to reach net zero emissions. This isn't just a list of dates. It's a super clear, powerful signal of a nation stepping up its ambition over decades.
India has really shifted from being just a participant in these discussions to acting as a proactive climate leader. We're talking about comprehensive systemic change here. There's Mission Life, which stands for Lifestyle for Environment, and that's all about encouraging mindful consumption. We're seeing a massive expansion of renewable energy and real leadership in the International Solar Alliance. They've set concrete targets for nature restoration and land degradation neutrality. And honestly, perhaps most importantly, there's this strong focus on community-led adaptation and resilience. These aren't just dry policies written on a piece of paper. They are powerful, actionable signals of systemic change that are completely cutting through the bureaucratic noise.
Section 3. Rising Signals of Solution.
So, right beneath those big national policies, grassroots actions are quietly but so effectively cutting through the noise to create real, measurable impact. Check this out. When a community rejuvenates a wetland or a pond,
The amplified impact is immediate: water security and climate adaptation. When we plant agroforestry or urban forests, we get climate mitigation and a huge boost in biodiversity. Rainwater harvesting? That directly supports livelihood generation, and composting builds a tough, resilient, circular bioeconomy. What you really should take away from this is how these localized, seemingly small acts just stack up. They compound into massive, undeniable signals of adaptation. It proves that solutions don't just come from the top down, they grow from the ground up.
Section 4. Sending your signal back. To really connect to these shifts, we need to understand something called our climate story. So, the crucial point here is that a climate story is deeply human. It's the lived experience of how changing environmental conditions affect real people, communities, and livelihoods. It's what we see, what we feel, and what we remember. It shifts our perspective entirely, from cold, distant data to personal, lived realities. You know, the changing weather patterns in your own hometown, or the differences in the seasons from when you were a kid. That is your climate story. It's real, and it absolutely matters.
I want to leave you with a final, slightly provocative thought, inspired by the framework we've explored today. What is your climate story? And more importantly, what signal will you send back to nature? Because we all have a choice, every single day. We can either contribute to the overwhelming static and all the daily distractions, or we can engage in those grassroots actions, no matter how small they might seem, and become a clear, positive signal for change. Thank you so much for joining me for this explainer. Keep tuning in, keep finding the signal in the noise, and I will see you next time.